society as a rule about the importance of ethical, social, and cultural aspects of geoscience knowledge, research, practice, education, and communication. I remind you all that the Geoethics Day is held every year during the Earth Science Week and the month of the Global Ethics Day. As indicated in the IAPG website, the IAPG works for a respectful stewardship of the Earth as a way to take care of a current and future generation. I would like to say that this year we have several initiatives for the Geoethics Day. We will have also another webinar on 19 October, organized by the Early Career Scientist team of the IAPG, and the webinar is open to all, is free of charge, and it is organized in cooperation with the American Geosciences Institute, the AGI. I would like also to say other two important initiatives of the IAPG in this period. The Joatix Medal 2020. We John Geisman of the University of Texas at Dallas has been awarded the medal 2020, and this medal was assigned to John in recognition of career-long dedication to the highest ethical standards and practices of the geoscience profession. And another important achievements that we are close to get is to publish the second book on geoethics in the Lyell collection of the Geological Society of London. The title of this book is Geoethics, Status and Future Perspectives, and it is a collection of 20 chapters about many topics of interest for geoethics. It's a very, very important step ahead for the geoethical thinking. And I will give information about the publication of the book as soon as it will be published by the Geological Society of London. At the moment, we have 15 chapters that are already available as online first in the Geological Society of London website. Finally, I would like to remind you also the definition of geoethics provided by the IAPG, because this definition encapsulates the deep sense of our service as geoscientists for society and the societal meaning of embracing geoethics to assure a healthy and safe future to humanity. As indicated in the IAPG website, geoethics consists of research and reflection on the values which underpin appropriate behaviors and practices wherever human activities interact with the Earth system. Geoethics deals with the ethical, social, and cultural implications of geoscience knowledge, education, research, practice, and communication, providing a point of intersection for geosciences, sociology, philosophy, and economy. So this is another important aspect. Geoethics is a multidisciplinary approach to complex problems affecting our Earth system. Geoethics, in the last part of the definition, quotes that geoethics represents an opportunity for geoscientists to become more conscious of their social role and responsibilities in conducting their activity. Geoethics is a tool to influence the awareness of society regarding problems related to georesources and geoenvironment. I think that this definition of geoethics is very important. It was included in the Cape Town Statement of Geoethics. That is another very important document published by the IAPG. that is supported by 24 geoscience organizations, among the most important in the world. And I want to conclude my very short speech with my promise, because this year the International Geoethics Day is dedicated to early career and young scientists, geoscientists, and we invite all people who participate in the events to make a geoethical promise. Take a sentence from the geoethical promise that is published in the IAPG website, and this is, I don't know if you would say this. This is my promise. This is my promise, and I promise I will practice geosciences being fully aware of the societal implications, and I will do my best for the protection of the Earth system for the benefit of humankind. I promise. So thank you very much, and I'm really, really happy for this new initiative by IAPG India. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for giving agenda and the future of this August gathering related with the geoethics. So I would like to bring out two very important announcements. One you already announced, that this year this Geoethics Day is dedicated to the early career scientists working in the or practicing in the field of geosciences. So I would call all the young people who is working and who even they are studying, think about to search it about a lot, since this is a new dimension that is coming into our professional. So I will request all of you to go through it, search it, and I promise that you will going to find it is not interesting, but it is useful for the future as well. So this is the first. Second one is that, sir, I mean, I would also like to share with you all, this week is a Earth Science Week. So this is really fortunate that this Geoethics Day fall in the Earth Science Week. So in that sense, again, my call for all people who is practicing, who is learning, who is dedicating their life or professional career in the field of earth sciences or geosciences, they all this subject is very open, and we expect a more hand holding from IAPG International Chapter to their Indian counterpart, because the people are working from ocean to Himalaya, and the diversity you can find in India is the unparalleled in the world. And people, the subject of the geology or earth sciences is one of the oldest discipline in India. So a more vibrant hand holding we expect from the team that you representing IAPG. And in this sense, we also request Professor Surya Prakash to call to all of us, so that a better coordination can be made, better vibrant collaborative work can be designed. Now, I again thankful to my international representative from IAPG for their enlightening words. Now we are going ahead for a special address. B.S. Prakash. He is from KSNDMC, Bangalore. He was the former special ex-special director. Now I would like to invite Dr. Deepika to have introduction.
Thank you, Dr. Kushag. Dr. V.S. Prakash is the former Special Director of the Karnataka State Natural Disaster Monitoring Center. It is an autonomous body affiliated to the Department of Science and Technology, Government of Karnataka, India. He has served in various capacities in Government of India and Government of Karnataka since 1973. He started his career as a field assistant in Department of Mines and Geology in 1973, served as a lecturer in KGF first grade college during 1973-74, as a geologist in Department of Mines and Geology, Government of Karnataka during 1974-79, joined Central Services and served as scientist Central Groundwater Board, Ministry of Water Resources, Government of India during 1979 to 1996. As a senior faculty in Rajiv Gandhi National Institute for Groundwater Research and Training during 1996 to 1999, and as a director, Drought Monitoring Cell, Government of Karnataka during 1999 to 2007. So, dear sir, we welcome you all on the board.
Thank you very much. And well, I think I will be very brief. And when we're talking about geoethics for a long period of experience, extending more than 4 decades. Now, I just question myself, really, do we have a geoethics? It is there, it is not there. And maybe you can argue on both the sides. So just I would like to share a few of my thoughts and just leave it to you, the question of geoethics. And well, I request all of you to bear with me because I'm going to share one recent experience, incidents, which is relevant to all the geologists and the people who are working in the disaster management field. I'm going to share it, and well, and beyond this, no, there is no personal, intention to really, bring anybody in this. He's only sharing the one and the latest experience, and well, you can request all of you to think about now the geoethics. Can I share my screen, please? Hello.
Yes, sir. You can share your screen.
Yes, screen.
Sir, option will be third one from.
Yeah, is okay.
Yes, sir.
Can you see it?
Yes, yeah. Your screen is visible.
Now, when we look at the constitution of the country, it shall be the duty of every citizen of India to develop scientific temper, humanism, and the spirit of inquiry and reform. Is Article 51AH of the Constitution. But at the same time, in the bottom I've written, we need a policy and implemental action plan for effective science communication. Effective science communication to build and instill scientific temper and foster a spirit of scientific inquiry. So I've given both the things, and let me just take you forward. Yeah, this is the picture of the part of Karnataka state, Kodagu. It's a Coorg, the Western Ghats. It's on the Western Ghats. So the Western Ghats, this Kodagu has been experiencing very heavy rain and landslides for the last 3 years, 2018, 2019, 2020. Landslide which happened this year, given the the picture in this slide. The left side is how the area was looking before the landslide. This is Bhagamandala. We also call it as Talakaveri. Talakaveri is the place where the river Kaveri takes its birth. Talakaveri. So here, it has got a very long tradition. There is a temple, the priest, and people from Karnataka and all the neighboring states, they do come here, worship. Annually once, there is a Tirthodava, the Kaveri water, river. It oozes out once in a year. It's called Tirthodava. It's a very much revered place. And there's a priest family who are living there for the last more than 350 years. So this is the hill, left side you see, here the landslide, more than 26 landslide took place this year. And well, this landslide is the one near that hill, Brahmagiri, Bhagamandala, where entire family of the priest of the temple were completely washed away in the landslides. So it took the government, SDRF, the response team, rescue relief team, more than 4 to 5 days to locate the first body, and all the bodies of the family of the priest could be recovered only after 7-8 days. So 2018, there were landslides, huge landslides. I myself had visited the landslide sites in 2018, and out of my own interest, I did 3D subsurface imaging using resistivity survey, 3D subsurface imaging of this landslide area. Out of my own passion, I had a discussion with the local district collector and also district in charge secretary and district in charge minister those days. In 2018, 19, again, there was a landslide. 2020, this year, I'm just showing a picture. Okay, next. So the devastation did not come at short time. Just when we look back and just look at the Geological Survey of India in its report after studying the floods, landslides 2018-19 had pointed out a surface crack that had developed at the mid slope of Brahmagiri Hill, the slide which I showed the previous one, where the family of the priest were washed away. So the geologist who undertook the survey suggested in the report that the crack could have resulted from the multiple contour trenches made by the forest department at the mid-slope for the conservation of water. So see here, for the conservation of water, some other department is doing, and well, disaster management, risk and vulnerability is another group. So there is no convergence. Anyway, the Geological Survey of India opined that the contour trenches made by the forest department at the mid-slope for the conservation of water and prevention of soil erosion could be the cause. Then further they said it cannot be ruled out that the trenches with standing water may have allowed infiltration into the overburden material. The report also indicated that the crack would have formed as a result of the slope cut made for road expansion, which was left unsupported. The director of GSI, Maruti, refused to comment on this year's landslide 2020, saying a thorough study needs to be conducted at the landslide area to ascertain the actual cause of the landslide. It's fine. He said a thorough study to be conducted. And next. So then the Indian Meteorological Department, the director, gave a statement. Kodagu and the Western Ghat region are used to heavy rainfall, but why this is leading to landslides, floods, and other natural calamity is now something that needs to be studied properly. As well, fine. So then Professor D.V. Ramachandra from the Energy and Wetland Group, Center for Ecological Sciences, Institute of Science, who is the premier institute in the country, who has done extensive study in the area, attributed this solely to the unscientific land use modification that have been happening in the district for years. Okay, the incidence is same, subject is same. See the opinions. Okay, fine. Then next one. Oh, well, it has Indian Express. It has 2018, 19, 20 successive years. There were floods, landslides. This year also, North Karnataka. Right now, for the past 3 days, there has been very heavy rain, floods in northern part of the Karnataka state. So I just it has appeared in my newspaper. That is one more lesson to be learned from floods. So it is it appears in the newspaper. So this is one on 25th May 2020. 25th May 2020. What does it say? On 20th May 2020, yes, May 20th, 2020, the Bangalore city, a loud subterranean sound was heard at 1:40 p.m. So I also felt it. I was doing some work in my study room. I also felt it. And there was all the TV channels were discussing about it. And well, the media contacted me also. So one retired geologist from Geological Survey of India stated that the loud subterranean sound is caused by the low pressure or cyclonic circulation in the Arabian Sea. Well, for me, it was very difficult for me to link the low pressure system cyclone in the Bay of Bengal to the subterranean sound in Bangalore. But anyway, I contacted the DG IMD, good friend of mine. He said, no, it cannot. It can make a subterranean sound in Bangalore city felt in some parts of Bangalore, not entire Bangalore, entire Karnataka. It's too difficult to link it to cyclone. Anyway, I said that it's very difficult for me to agree linking it to. So anyway, further, the HAL gave a statement, Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, that at the same time, a fighter test plane were flown around Bangalore. Anyway, because that sound could be the cause of it. And further, the said geologist, whose picture is shown here, for some reasons I don't want to name, he also stated this is a news item in the Kannada, very popular, largely circulated Kannada paper. He linked COVID-19 to volcanic activity in Sumeru, Indonesia. Further, he also stated that the probability of flood and landslide in Karnataka, Kodagu and North Indian Karnataka is very, very low. It's just 2%. So this is a statement given by the geologist. Now, next one. So then, all the three statements appeared one after another. And well, a group of us, all geologists by profession, working in various government departments, and one person, Nagesh Hegde, who is a very popular scientific writer. We discussed over each other over the phone one after another, and we felt that it's very difficult to accept for us scientifically all the three statements made by the said geologist. That say linking loud subterranean sound to cyclone, and saying that volcanic activity is responsible for spreading of coronavirus, and third, giving a forecast that there will be no disaster this year in Karnataka, no floods, no landslides. We said, well, it is very difficult for us to accept it scientifically. We gave a statement which appeared in the readers column of the same newspaper on 27th May. That is on 20th it happened, 25th he gave a statement, 27th we made in the readers column, we wrote it. And he responded back saying that, these all the five. After a couple of days, 27th, 29th, I think this 29th, he responded saying that all the three people who have written in the readers column, they are incompetent, they're inexperienced. I don't agree with them. I stand by whatever statement I have given. So yes, and all the five giving their opinion readers column are now served legal notice on October 9, 2020. So it happened in the May 2020. Now, just a few days back, all the five of us who said we don't agree scientifically, it is difficult for us to agree. All the three thinking volcanic activity in Indonesia to COVID-19 and also subterranean sound cyclone. Number three, saying that forecast that there will be no disaster in Karnataka state. The probability is only 2%, but Karnataka has extensive heavy rain and floods and landslides this year, very extensive. So even now, right now, northern part of Karnataka is experiencing flood situation even today because of the rains over the last 2-3 days. So this is the picture, the first one where I show Brahmagiri. This was the house of the priest of the temple, and all the family members, entire, was passed away. So this family was living there over the last 350 years. So there was a belief that Brahmagiri, nothing can happen to Vijayagiri, Brahmagiri. That is a hill or slope on which they were living. That is the traditional knowledge the local people believe. So the flood caused by heavy rains has caused loss of life right now, because in 2020 it has caused loss of lives, damages in Kodagu and North Karnataka districts since August 2020. There is no scientific evidence to link COVID-19 to volcanic activity. If any one of you are aware of it, probably can share with us. But a legal notice is served for expressing dissent in the redress column of the newspaper. So here, something ethics. So geoethics, despite the importance of its theme, attention given to geoethics is still limited. Only a few geoscientists make explicit reference to geoethics. Outside the scientific community, among the general public, no one even knows geoethics. Why? The in-depth meaning of the word geoethics calls upon geoscientists to face the responsibility of ethical behavior at both a social and individual level. The social and individual, these two dimensions are strictly linked. In fact, an ethical attitude within an individual is reflected in his or her social behavior. But of what does the responsibility of the geologist consist? And what motivations are needed to encourage geoscientists to practice earth sciences as in an ethical manner? So this is in brief what I wanted to share with you, the latest experience. And now prime made is that because I am also there in the 5 group, each one of us have to pay 1 crore as the damage caused to him, defamation. 1 crore. So all the 5 of us, 5 crore rupees. 5 crore rupees is the legal notice served. So here, in my opinion, we talk about geoethics, but no, we don't see around. We don't see around where practicing. I stop here.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, thank you very much for your experience-based, understanding sharing. And you very rightly pointed out that the number of publications, scientific communication we found, there was a close competition between the number of infected people and number of paper get published in the name of COVID-19. So, science community are really in hurry paper, but unfortunately, in the long term, the damage we create, we have to pay. And you perfect example you have given how geoethics can, when we saw two photographs, the before the landslide and after the landslide, and the family faith that was living for last 350 years and what happened right now. One more example I will cite in very brief, that everyone knows about the Aral Sea. It is the 5th largest freshwater lake in the world. There used to be, Russia used to be, the Navy warship practice over there. You can imagine the volume of 68,000 square kilometer long sea. And what happened now? You can find the big ship in the sand there, no water, only 3,500 square kilometer left out, and that is nothing but fraction of it. So these are the examples that can be cited to make young mind understand what geoethics means. In Indian mythology, every religious text you can find the religious bottom commandment is they given. The earth is mother, air is father. Is guru kind of thing approach is there. But so there is a need to revival of that. So thank you very much for your experience. That's really enlightening. Now,
thank you.
I would like to invite. Actually, the time is issue. Otherwise, we would love to see you. For hours. So now this is time to invite Professor A.D. Ahluwalia. We have a so now Dr. Shruti will introduce him. I will request Dr. Shruti to be brief so that we will enjoy the lecture of Sir. Over to Dr. Shruti.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Kushal. So I would like to invite Professor Arun D. Ahluwalia, and he is a renowned geologist and environmentalist, and currently member of Intersectoral National Program Advisory and Monitoring Committee of National Program's Carbon Sequestration Research. Professor Ahluwalia has been a former Environment Awareness and Outreach in charge and Director of CAS in Geology, Punjab University, And after he commenced his career in 1972 in GSI, and in 82 he joined Punjab University, and he has been a guest speaker at a number of international platform across continents like America, Australia, Asia, and during the last 43 years, he has published high impact research papers in reputed journals like Nature, Geological Magazine, Chemical Geology, and he's also a guest columnist on earth and environmental management issues in leading Indian English dailies. Professor Ahluwalia has a coffee table book titled Geomorphology and Landforms, and it has been reviewed from Louisiana State University, USA, and applauded as a rare pictorial and aesthetic feast. He spoke recently in 14th World Congress on environment and management. With these words, I would like to invite Professor Ahluwalia for his speech.
There was a problem with my sharing the screen because I connect from my laptop. So I'm speaking from a mobile phone, but somebody has my presentation PDF who will simultaneously run that. Is my presentation there?
It is under process, Avinder. It is loading.
Yeah, okay. I'll
Yeah,
carry on.
it is there, sir.
Yeah. See, the word geoethics never was familiar to me as a word till 2004, before that Florence IGC. And when I saw that section on geoethics, I felt that I was practicing geoethics activist for nearly 35 years, ever since I was a BSc student. I feel sharing the excitements of earth and environmental sciences with society, and irrespective of the age and the literacy level, is a very sacred duty of all of us. And our number, unfortunately, is very small across the planet. But in India, it is extremely small because we do not formally teach geology in schools and colleges. Hardly 4% of the colleges and universities teach geology. My theme is a nation which puts poor focus on geosciences is a poor nation, because lesser hands and lesser eyes and lesser feet to walk on a terrain means very little exploration done, very little management done, and very little enjoyment coming out of it. And consequently, not much of tourism tagged to geosciences and ecology of the terrain leads to a very confused tourism. So I will request the friend who is managing my slides to shift over. There is a brief, in my second slide, there is a brief about the geoethical remedies to national development. Has somebody changed the slide, or because I can't do it from here? Somebody has to do it. Please change the slide. Yeah, kindly keep on listening to me so that you are doing what I'm doing. Otherwise, it's not changed. At least I can't see it on my mobile that the slide has changed. Anyway, I'll carry on because I know time is limited, and I'm actually not a prisoner of any presentation. I would, whether there is a presentation possible or not possible, I still manage to communicate. So all geologists and environmental amateurs and experts, they have to be grassroots activists. Kushagra, could you confirm now if somebody's changing my slides or it's going to stick to the title slide? Yeah, beach mein bhi thi. There was one in between. before. Kindly don't run random. On each slide, at least be 5 seconds and go back to the second slide, please. Please, kindly. Go back to this. Has it been put on auto mode?
No, sir. Your second slide, you are talking about Morni Hills.
No, there is another slide. Fine, fine, fine. There are examples. Say, don't rush till I say move.
Okay.
See, we have a beautiful terrain with a whole spectrum of geological history. And we have what the rest of the, in fact, about 11 or 12 countries, we share the Himalayan history and the Himalayan ecology. And instead of having a shared Himalayan tourism and ecotourism, we are actually busy fighting wars in that beautiful terrain. I feel that the day we have cross-border ecotourism and geotourism and shared geological exploration and conservation and disaster management, that day, these misguided terrorists and warmongers will become irrelevant. And perhaps, though there is no Nobel Prize in geosciences, economics got it, but geosciences should be very fast being on the move. But I think the Nobel Peace Prize will come to those geologists and environmentalists who will manage to, through their emotional communication across to the masses, to the schools and the colleges and universities, but not just that. At every village, to our guest from Italy, you see, the head of the village is called Panchayat. 5 people, it's called 5 people, 5 means punch, and that's the administrative unit of a village. What I advocate that at every Panchayat, the village, school, or the governing body, we should have a small local geological and environmental museum, which should be housed in the village school or the Panchayat office. And all the kids and the teachers should be involved. And instead of having too many big science cities in some huge cities like Calcutta or Lucknow or Hyderabad or Kapurthala, we should have small mini science cities across. And when you have a culture of families going to science cities and families walking on the slopes and families getting familiar on highways with and asking questions on what are they seeing? What does it mean? How old are the rocks they're walking on? Are there fossils? Are these volcanic rocks? Of what age? For instance, our people often go traveling from Chandigarh to Shimla, but a brief halt at Panchkula to see a very recent, rather about 2.54 million year old volcanic ash, a 30 centimeter volcanic tufaceous mudstone layer can be and should have been already a geopark or a geosite of great importance. The word geopark we started reading about in the last 2 decades, but unfortunately, in spite of our terrain being so beautiful and so scientifically important and vibrant, we don't have a single geopark which got UNESCO recognition. And the procedure for that is too big. I'm just sharing my experience. I decided that this morning, this beautiful stromatolitic cave, in fact, this is called Sherla cave. Sher means leopard, and the leopard lives in these caves, and these are the Upper Riphean stromatolitic limestones. There has been none like it in the Himalayas I ever saw. And with the ecology, is traveling is even a walkable distance from Panchkula, and there's a school nearby, there is a tourism opportunity nearby. So I'm just sharing with you some experiments in trying to inculcate some values for ecotourism and geotourism, and discovering affluence and peace across the South Asian landscape. So this is one, and we could go further. I'll take you up in the higher Himalayas. Can we, aage chalenge? Can we go further, please? Yeah. Here we're traveling towards Rohtang Pass. Now we have one of the biggest, don't rush, please, one of the biggest high altitude tunnels named after later Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji. And we are going to have, thanks to pressure from across our old friends, Himalayan friends, we used to call them brothers, and we still wish they will be our brothers. And I'm sure when the geologists dominate, when the geological enlightenment comes across to the masses and the classes, the media should be talking about it, the media should be writing about it, and everybody should be degree or no degree. A degree is a scrap of paper. But what matters is how much geosciences you have in your heart, how much appreciation you have it in your head, how much you've seen through, how much what you see, you understand, you enjoy. So leave aside the technical jargon, leave aside the language. So enjoying this beautiful high altitude landscape, we are at a First World War mining site of stibnite. Imagine when there was no road, it was not accessible. These glaciers called Barashigri, one of the biggest glaciers. This is another great geopark site, which what I would say, UNESCO and IUGS, we should also speed up the processes of, we should not be applying for it. In fact, the world should come searching. I decided to circumvent all procedures. I put it across on my Facebook. In fact, my Facebook page is my classroom page for about 3,000 students and many more, because my Facebook page is public. And it is a geological and environmental Facebook page. I put it across there, and I wrote to friends across that these are some geopark sites which have their importance. Why should Indian government or Indian geologists be applying for its recognition? It should be the other way around. The global leaders, once we give them the hand, should come over and invite us. Yes, why not? This beauty, this is rare mountain chain, highest, most dynamic, the youngest mountain chain. And if we start with we would like to have the situation of Europe here, where somebody from Pakistan, Himalayas, somebody from Tibet, somebody
Sir,
from...
excuse me, sir. Actually, I can understand the kind of wisdom you have. It's beyond this 10-minute schedule.
I will,
My sincere request to,
I'll drop it the moment you tell me to drop it.
No, sir. I mean, our idea is that we thought that there must be a separate session, because the way the idea that you bring in really a foundation for this concept of the geoethics in practical sense, not only the impact academic work. It is going to be a very foundation kind of work on this. So so I will request you to
I differ from you. Geoethics is not an abstract word. The whole science of geology, if somebody is advocating, it's spreading and seeping into the grassroots and the mindsets, into the hearts of the masses who live on this landscape. That's geoethics. In fact, the first abstract which I gave in Florence was that if you deny the masses, if you deny the schools and colleges the joys of geosciences, this is being unethical in geosciences, and geoethics demands that we share what we enjoy. We scientists cannot be selfish and self-centered, or we be living in ivory towers and say that we will not talk to the masses. This is I'm sorry to say, I may be lone one, but I'm sure there are hundreds of people. And another thing, from Himalayas, coming over across the terrains, you have rocks used in our historical monuments. For instance, Taj Mahal. No, I don't find even one explanation somewhere about the marble used there, about the environment, about the age. So we could go from place to place, putting across a little bit of geological excitement, a little bit about geological knowledge, palatable to somebody who doesn't hold a degree. Degree or no degree, anybody who appreciates the thrills of geosciences, the history of Earth, and the beauty of the landscape is a geologist, is an environmentalist. Geoethically, we should be focusing on enjoyable geosciences, in workable geosciences, not the theoretical, narrow, constricted definition of geoethics.
Sure, sir.
Geoethics
We
is
are
a
we are
very, very
perfectly
wide
agree with you, sir.
spectrum.
Yeah. So
Geoethics is a very wide spectrum. We can go further, and it's just
yeah.
I'm nearing the end of my presentation.
Sure.
Rush
So,
through the slides, please.
yeah, sure.
I'll stop at the last one.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the one. Now, if you go across this terrain, God didn't draw these boundaries which we have drawn. And these beautiful Himalayan mountains were not meant to be the focus of wars or terrorism. If we focus on the excitements of geosciences in this entire complex mountain chain, which is the loftiest, the youngest, that's geoethics. And if we have international collaboration and local regional collaboration among these countries on all the wealth, the beauty of this landscape. In fact, I was discussing with some friends in management. They said, why should this entire Pangong Lake and all the lakes around be not declared, like Antarctica, a unique landscape only for research, only for ecotourism and geotourism, not for fighting wars? This landscape belongs to all the people living across the world. In fact, they come as tourists, but my idea of geoethics is that we somehow impregnate that tourism with the excitements of geosciences in this region and make it jargonless, have more illustrated, more videos. Maybe YouTube is an excellent opportunity, but more ebooks, and involve all the school kids and village folks living in these regions to create that effort, initiate that effort, and ultimately benefit from that effort. World peace will come through geoethics is my theme. This area can be the trigger of world war, but with a little global wisdom and statesmanship among the geoscientists, if they all adopt every geologist is a geoethics volunteer activist, and this can be the focus of world peace. Everywhere, geological collaborations done geoethically with peace in the target can lead to world peace. Thank you.
So thank you very much, sir. The listening your slides and your speech is like going through the landscape and experiencing it. So we unable to do justice the kind of wisdom you have.
No problem. No
For
problem.
our audience. So we are soon planning for a extended lecture session of sir for the wide benefit of the in the geoethics community and geosciences community. So now this time to understand the disasters that we are going to prone day by day with a notion of the geoethics. So I would like to invite Professor Surya Prakash for his wisdom or his experiential understanding with all of us in relation with the geoethics. So I would like to invite Professor Surya Prakash directly. So welcome, sir.
Thank you, Kushagarji. And I thank our former speakers, Giuseppe, Treasurer of IAPG, Dr. V.S. Prakash, and Professor Ahluwalia, sir. They have actually given us an insight how we are actually planning at the global levels, and also from the lectures of speech of Dr. V.S. Prakash, we learned about local level issues related to geosciences. So we have discussed about geoscientific controversies, conflictions, and geopolitics also to some extent through the lecture by Professor Ahluwalia. I'll just briefly focus on disaster risk management because it is a very major issue amongst us, particularly during the current pandemics, and how a geoscientist and similar other professions can contribute to disaster risk management. I'm focusing primarily on geoethics because in our geosciences, we don't have any standards, norms, codes well established. We don't have any councils like councils of architects or engineers or medical professionals. Geoscientists too require it in order to set those standards. And why those standards are required, I'm just putting a slide that if we have ethics, it will deter our unethical behavior. In some ways, we will know what to do, what not to do in a correct sense. It will provide us a support system for our members. For example, the controversy which has risen in Karnataka actually could have been well taken over by our Council of Geoscientists, who would have provided the means and mechanisms to deal with such affairs. So there has to be a system which can allow this. The third is that it should serve as an enabling document. If we have the regulations, if we have the norms, that will serve as the guidelines for us. So let's try to work in these directions and act as a basis for adjudicating disputes. There may be controversies, but those controversies should be dealt by the professionals themselves rather than going to the courts. That is one of my suggestions, that courts are ultimate, no doubt. But why not resolve among ourselves? There can be a difference in opinions of the scientists, and they should be free to express their own opinions. But science has a basis, and without verification and validation, we cannot make statements. So that has to be well established based on our scientific principles, guidelines, and judgments. Enhance profession's reputation. Professor Ahluwalia said only 4% of the colleges have or universities have geology. Now, why so? Are we not able to earn a reputation of our profession amongst the society? Or is this profession not contributing the society to that level that it should be everywhere in every university, every college should have a department of geology because it's the earth which we intervene. So there has to be an interface between the earth systems and the anthroposphere, which need to be well studied and managed. The next is act as a source for public evaluation. We cannot decide what we do and how well we are doing or performing. It's the public at large which will make a decision on that, and are we actually serving them properly? So we should evaluate and get the inputs from the public themselves, that where do we actually stand, and what do they need from our sides. So we are very good in exploration, we are very good in exploitation, we are contributing to energy sector, we are contributing to the economy of the country. But then what is the recognition we are getting in turn? Or why, or is it not enough that we are doing? So what we need to do, and then maybe as a geoscientist, we are not well versed with socialization process. So in geology, I would request that social geology should also be a part of our curriculums. Let our geoscientists learn how to behave appropriately amongst the society as a professional, and give them the right information at the right time at the right place. So these are my suggestions on this Geoethics Day, that let's set concepts and principles that can guide us and help our behavior in a positive way. And our contributions are actually benefiting the society rather than harming. Some of the information, some of the people may go wrong. And if it is not corrected at time, then we may have the damages and the losses. This is happening in several cases in terms of disaster situations. And most people confuse ethical standards with behaving in accordance with social conventions, religious belief, or law. That's not all enough. These religious beliefs and conventions are termed as something which is related to social norms and traditions. Okay. And wherever legal systems exist in terms of scientific practices, that also have to be adhered to. But what I'm going to emphasize here is individual instincts, our knowledge, and our own individual behaviors and sense of responsibilities and roles in the society to be highlighted. So Giuseppe already told you that how we have actually conceived at the international level about the geoethic concept. And that is actually aiming to enhance the integrity, competence, dignity, and devotion of the geoscientific services to the society. And these days, you know, in our country, we are talking more and more in terms of appropriate behaviors. And appropriate behaviors not only during the current pandemics, but in all situations and all times have to be practiced. So we must establish our appropriate behaviors and practices so that all students, today we are talking more on in terms of young geoscientists, so they should be told about it. Then to make them more conscious of their roles, not in just in terms of scientific communications, but social responsibilities and activities as well. So we should talk and make our society aware about the geoscientists' contribution in terms of resources and hazard identification and risk management. That is the area where we can focus. Environment management will also be part of it. So geoethics in disaster management, I wanted to focus on disaster risk assessment. Geoscientists know well about the earth system processes, procedures, and morphology, and other things, whether it is exogenic or endogenic in nature. So we can try to assess earth processes well and the risk related to them. We can map them well and monitor them using our own systems of geosciences and manage those georisks. Because if we are able to predict, you are able to assess, then you can prevent, mitigate, and or you can prepare and respond well. So these are the situations that you can do. Then second is we can have a proper and prudent communication. We may have our research works well published in journals, but if it is not communicated to our authorities, to our functionaries at large, it will not benefit the society. So communication is very important, not only in the scientific literature or journals and periodicals, but also with the society and the concerned government authorities and public at large or the media at large. So we must do it properly in layman's language without making any confusions or conflicts before them. So that's why how we can earn the credibility. I'll tell you some of these issues, how we can deal with it. And equity action and clarity. We must also tell our limitations. We cannot be ever perfect. So we will always be working with some presumptions, uncertainties, errors, and limitations. That should also be properly communicated so that people can rely on us. Then build that relationship. Take our these lectures to the society. Tell them how geosciences can be beneficial for them and why geoscience education is important for the society. So all this we have to establish. And I'm in favor of what Professor Ahluwalia said in terms of establishing and developing geoparks, geomuseums, and geotourism. We have a lot of good geoheritage, which we should develop on and develop within our geological variabilities and geodiversities. We talk about demographic diversities, sociocultural diversities, economic diversities. Why don't we talk about geological diversities? Then other issues are related to scientific. I will not dwell much on it. That is about the publications, plagiarisms, poor reporting records. We should actually enhance those. How should we build our geological databases? And how should we issue permits and licenses for our professions without violation of any government regulations and protocols for integrity and good practices? I just suggest these 10 C's in disaster risk management. We should be very clear of our objectives. Then we should be correct in our communications in terms of our whatever research results are there. And we should complete them, not in a piecemeal manner. We attained this. We should be complete in our nature of communications and conditions with presumptions that we have done. And also give due credits, not only to our own selves, but to others from where we have taken sport and from where we seek the information. Competence, we build our own competencies. We should develop this. Competitiveness is good spirit and we should try to develop on it. And communications, whatever good research we do, we communicate to our society, to our authorities, to the public and the media at large, so that it becomes more popular science. Collaborations and coordination, this will be possible only if you have a good collaboration with other sectors, other disciplines, other subjects. I was fortunate that I have mostly worked with other disciplines, sectors and areas, so I could realize the importance of geology to them, and it brought me a lot of confidence amongst myself, and the people had confidence in me because I had a separate background which actually posed me more competitive in nature and confidence in terms of local level understanding of our system, and also brought credibility. So this is what we need to do and how we can do it. So competent scientists, geoscientists can work hand in hand together with social scientists so that we actually earn a good name and we can solve these social problems and serve them with the resources, as well as those problems which are actually arising can be averted at the first instance. This is a figure I took it from the net, which is showing that professionalism is one, but there are other pillars which need to be also supported with it. And we should not only have the skills, knowledge, information, and experience or ideas, but also the ethics into our practices. Then only it will stand respect, trust, and duty to the public. So this is the part of my end of the slide, that I found not only the human beings like this, even the wildlife. I was working for restoration of a forest land after a landslide. I was supported not only by governance, administration, and all other people, NGOs and local people, but also the monkey with its baby came on the car given by the priest of the famous temple of that area. So that showed that even wild hostile life become hospitable and affectionate to you if you do good to them. And disaster management and geosciences provides us those opportunities if we work in an ethical manner. So that's my urge and my promise, and I say all should promise this, that on this Geoethics Day, we will follow our ethical practices. We'll set up our standards and norms so that everybody is in the main stream. With this, I thank you all.
Thank you very much for bringing out a different aspect and your 10 C's particularly in the context of the geoethics. If I can summarize my understanding for the today lecture, deliberations, there is a two end if in context of geoethics. One, the social or religious commandments that you have toward the nature and earth system. As I told that in every religious text or society, we worship nature and we care about the nature. And second, another extreme and another end of the geoethics is what we are working for. We are working to develop a codification, professional codes and ethics in this area so there is a need of the perfect balance of both of these. But one thing what the Professor Surya Prakash has clearly mentioned, that conditioning. Even I can quote one of the very famous, the professional code, Hippocratic oath that medical professionals used to take. But if they are not properly conditioned, the level of degradation we can encounter in our daily newspaper is, worst example of this thing. So conditioning is very important. And in this context, Professor Ahluwalia approach is quite, impressive. Similarly, the local level, Professor Dr. Prakash has brilliantly pointed out the issues. So with these words, now we come to the end of the session. But before end, we have to give credit the people who are involved in indulge with the organizing this event. So I would like Neil Ratan, but unfortunately Neil Ratan is unable to connect. So I will take this responsibility to, in very brief vote of thanks. I am thankful to NIDM, particularly top leadership, including Major General Manoj Kumar Bindal, Executive Director, and Professor Surya Prakash for their leadership, their direction, and everything that what we conducted today. I also thank to one of my co-convener, Mr. Anil, the young professional from NIDM, for their technical support and back-end support. Although we are unable to see his face, but he was very consistent since we conceived to conduct this idea. I'm also thankful to our international counterpart. He agreed on a very short notice. I can remember I mailed him in the late night yesterday, and he offered his help and participation on a very short notice. So we are really thankful, not for your participation, but bring out the positive points what you working on the international level. So I'm very thankful to you, sir. I'm thankful to all the professors, all the speakers today, particularly Professor Ahluwalia, Professor Dr. Prakash, and Professor Surya Prakash for their wisdom, word of wisdom, and their experiential understanding they share with us on this platform. Last but not least, my credit goes to my university organization and top leadership for giving me free hand to organize such kind of events. I am thankful to Professor Dr. Padma Kali for her leadership and open hand to conduct any kind of scientific gathering on daily basis or weekly basis, on frequent basis, I can say. And last but not least, my team, my faculty colleague, Dr. Shruti, Dr. Deepika, for their reporting as well as for their critical role of introducing each other. So with these words, I'm thankful to you all for participation and successful completion of this event. Thank you very much, sir.
So should I enter?
Yeah. Yes, please.